All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Again, I appreciate you taking the time to be with us this morning for our April Arizona Indian Education Association's general meeting. And we want to go ahead and get started because I want to respect everybody's time. So Nawa, Kwahat, Hatso and Toya, Goigu, Masik, Chawi, and Da, Kimberly Denko Begay Khan. My name's Kimberly Denko Begay. I am of the Kiowa, Caddo, and Pawnee Nations, originally from Oklahoma. I currently reside here in Tucson, Arizona, and I am the coordinator for the Amphitheater Public Schools here in Tucson, serving as the Native American Education Coordinator. And I currently sit as the president for the Arizona Indian Education Association. But I just want to take a few moments to do our land acknowledgement. We would like to do this at the opening of every public event that we have. So if you'll just bear with me just a few moments to allow me this time to read our statement. Beneath the contemporary surface of any site in the United States, there are histories of belonging that have been erased, overlooked, contested, and forgotten, all ways to support ideas like manifest destiny, which justified the conquest of native lands. Between 1776 and 1887, the United States seized over more than 1.5 billion acres from America's indigenous people by treaty and executive order. There are currently 574 tribal sovereign nations, variously called tribes, nations, bands, pueblos, communities, and native villages, that have a formal nation-to-nation relationship with the U.S. government. There are 334 federally and state recognized American Indian reservations in 2010. These 574 tribal nations are located across 35 states and within the geographical borders of the United States. Even within the U.S. borders, each tribal nation exercises its own sovereignty. Each of the 574 tribal governments is legally defined as a federally recognized tribal nation. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment in time. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in hope of a better life, and some have lived on this land for more generations than can be counted. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort to acknowledge what has been buried by honoring the truth. Today, we acknowledge the ancestral lands of the Accomail Otham and the Peepash people, upon which our AIEA headquarters stands. I also acknowledge the homelands of the Tana Otham and the Waimea people, upon which I currently am. We pay respects to their elders, past and present. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that brings us together here today. And please join us in uncovering such truth at any and all public events. So I just want to say thank you for allowing this time for us to read this acknowledgement. As I mentioned, it's just homage that we want to give to those traditional homelands upon where we stand. And so I just want to say thank you for allowing this time. Now we'll go into our introductions. And I would like for our executive board members to introduce themselves first, and then I'll call out each attendee on the list thereafter. So let me pull this here. So we'll start with our treasurer, Sheila.
Hi, good morning. I'm Sheila Seacrest. I am the current AIE treasurer, and I'm also the Native American program coordinator with Scottsdale Unified School District.
And then Travis.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Travis Lane. I am the co-secretary for the Arizona Indian Education Association. Thank you.
Thank you, executives. Appreciate your many efforts you put into AIEA This couldn't happen without you guys, so thank you. All right, we are going to go down the list on how I see on my end. So we'll start with Linan.
Hi, Ilan Yazi Nisha, what had leaning a slendo, my dish gives me bushes chin, Tetnas, I need the Shado Kiani Editionella. Hi, everybody. My name is Linan Yazi. I am the Deputy Associate Superintendent for the Office of Indian Education at the Arizona Department of Education. So great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Linan. Always great to see you. And next we have Cassandra. And she might be having some technical difficulties, but I do see that she is with the Phoenix Center. Cassandra, if at any time you're able to unmute, please do so during introductions and we'll allow that time for you. In the meantime, we'll move on. And next up we have Katie.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Katie Parker. I'm with White River Unified School District up in the White Mountains. I'm a White Mountain Apache, and I'm here as the Federal Programs Coordinator.
Always great to have you on, Katie. Thank you for joining. Next, we have Jonelle.
Hi, good morning. My name is Jonelle Tapaija. I'm the Education Coordinator here at the Wallapai Education and Health Training Center. Sorry. Thanks for having me.
It's nice to see you today.
Yes.
A few conversations, and so thank you for joining us so much. All right, and then we've got Shannon.
Good morning, Shannon Hadley here with the Community Engagement Tribal Affairs for the Girl Scouts Arizona Cactus Pine Council. It's good to be here.
Thank you, Shannon. And we are just beyond excited to have the Girl Scouts be a part of AIEA again. So thank you for joining us. And I see that Cassandra's joining again, so maybe this will be her audio portion where she'll be able to do a quick introduction. So let me, Good morning, Cassandra. If you're able to, just unmute and do a quick introduction, please.
Good morning. Friday technical difficulties, you know how those go. I am the Phoenix Center Director here at Datna Community College. Happy to join you this morning and thank you for sharing information.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Cassandra. It's nice to know that there's somebody close to me that's on board with us too. So I'm just down the road. So thank you for joining. All right. Again, I just want to say welcome everybody. It's so great to see faces, and eventually we'll start meeting back in person, probably starting sometime in the fall. But I do want to say how happy we are to have you joining us for our general meeting this morning. So without further ado, we'll move on in the agenda. Just a quick overview of what we're going to be doing today. We did our welcome, our land acknowledgement introductions. We'll have our approval of our minutes, the president's report, treasurer's report, Indian education updates from both our Office of Indian Education at the State Department, as well as our National Indian Education Association. I didn't see Joaquin hop on, but if he doesn't join us, then I'll just share out a few updates for NIEA. And then I apologize, I forgot to take out the special presentation that was for February's meeting, but it is in relation to that we'll be talking about a new business. But first we'll talk our old business, then we'll go into new business. I want to make time always for our program share outs, for any exciting events or activities you have going on with what you're doing. That's the time where we would love to hear what you're sharing. If you have flyers, please feel free to share them. And the chat box, we will be sure to get those out to our membership as well. And then with that, we'll adjourn for the day. So I do want to make note that our next meeting will be May 19th. We are going to have a May meeting because there are a few items we will need to address before the summer gets here. But just please mark your calendars. And as always, please keep in mind that all of our general meetings are the third Friday of every month, unless otherwise noted. Just a heads up, we will not have a July meeting. We usually focus all that time during the month of July to focus on building up our membership and getting our membership applications out. We do have our membership applications online. It is a fillable form that you're able to fill out. So if you get it, if you're not a member of AIEA, we always encourage you to become a member. We have some great benefits that go along with being a part of our membership. But again, our next meeting will be held on May 19th. Next, we have the approval of the minutes. And so I am going to turn it over to Travis.
I put in the chat the minutes from the February meeting. If you want to take some time to review those, let's see if there was any. There was no major action conducted in the last meeting, but we are soliciting volunteers for the bylaw committee. And I believe, Kim, I think we're still looking for people to help out with the summer camp as well.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, but I think other than that, if you want to review them, and I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes. Or Kim will ask for that motion.
I was trying to get it up on my screen, so I'm sharing the minutes. You should be able to see them from our last meeting here. I'll quickly run through them. Okay, so there's the meeting minutes from last meeting we had in February, and I would like to call for a motion to approve. And that's for the February 17th meeting minutes.
I'll move a motion to approve the minutes for February 17th.
Okay, Sheila has made the motion. Is there a second?
This is Katie. I second.
Thank you, Katie. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, like sign. All those who abstain, like sign. Motion has passed. So thank you all for approving those. I do want to make note that I want to sincerely apologize because it's been an extremely busy past few weeks. I've been out of the office on travel for other organizations I'm a part of that I haven't had time to sit down and do all the meeting minutes from last year. But I do have handwritten meeting notes that I'm wanting to type up to make it look more professional, but I will get those out to everybody and definitely we'll get those to you before our May meeting, because there are quite a few meeting minutes in addition to today's that I will send out to our membership ahead of time. So you'll have plenty of time to review those. So that way it won't take up so much time during the meeting to go through each one of those. You'll have those on hand to approve, or if there's any corrections, then at the time you can let us know. And so I do need a motion that we will table the minutes for June 24th through November 18th until the May meeting. And that's just to table the meeting minutes.
And I'll make that motion to table the minutes from last year, the unapproved minutes from last year.
Thank you, Travis. There is a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Sheila. And we'll do this by consensus unless there is any objection to that. If so, please say aye. And same for anyone who would like to abstain, like sign. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And again, I do apologize. I will get those out to you ahead of time before May meeting for sure. Next on the agenda, we have our president's report. And I apologize, I wasn't able to fix up some slides to make it look all nice and pretty. So I apologize in advance that you have to stare at just the president's report slide on here. I don't have a lot, but I did want to make mention of the Arizona Johnson O'Malley Quarterly Forum. This is a collaboration effort between the National Johnson O'Malley Association Region 1 representative, as well as the State Department's Office of Indian Education here. And it's been, we started this last January. So we celebrated our first year, full year of holding these type of forums. And it's been extremely helpful and a lot of resourceful information that has been shared out at each one of the forums. The next forum will be held next week, April 27th. It's a 4-hour period that we allocate, but it goes by quickly. So it starts at 9 in the morning and it goes until noon. The purpose is for all JOM contractors in Arizona to unite and discuss any challenges with JOM and gain guidance and share best practices. Collectively, we're able to document the support needs with JOMA and the BIE. We've been very fortunate that the Bureau of Indian Education from that federal level has also been a part of these forums, that if there's any questions or clarifications that are needed, they are there to provide that information. This forum provides an opportunity to collaborate in creating a united, consistent support structure for Arizona Indigenous students. Although the forum is geared toward the JOM contractors, all stakeholders in Indian education are welcome to attend. So please let me know if you have any topics you'd like to see addressed, because I do currently also serve as the Region 1 representative for the National Johnson O'Malley Association. Our quarterly schedule is, I can drop that in the chat for everybody to, if you're interested in joining us for future meetings. Again, it's open to all the stakeholders that work with Indian students or in Indian education. We also address the Title VI. We touch base on that, but it's mainly for our Johnson O'Malley programs. But there's a lot of great resources that are shared during that time, best practices between different programs. This coming forum, we are going to be focusing upon the tribal perspective. It's not just our public school districts that receive Johnson O'Malley funds, it's also our tribal schools and the tribes that provide those funds to these different school districts. And so that's our main focus for this one that will be coming up next week. We have invited an invitation for our Title VI program to be a part of it. Mr. Julian Guerrero. If he cannot be a part of the conversation, he did mention he could try and send a representative if they have somebody available. And so we're really excited that they're going to be a part of the forum. Like I mentioned in the past, it's been out of the office of the Bureau of Indian Education, and Spike Bighorn and Kimberly Beckwith, who is our regional representative here. Kimberly Beckwith is. They've been very helpful in being a part of these forums over the past year. Again, this one coming up is going to focus on our tribal perspective. We are going to be highlighting different tribal JOM programs. And so we're looking forward to that happening. Again, that's going to take place April 27th. I did put a schedule of when those meetings will take place for the remainder of this year. And so if you're welcome to be a part of that forum. I'll also share out the information later as we go through the meeting, so that way you'll have a contact form if you're interested in joining and receiving information about these forums. There is a contact form that we ask you complete, so that way you'll get on the email list to start receiving the updates. Next, I just wanted to, in relation to the JOM, for those that receive JOM funding, specifically from ADE, and Lynn, I'm sorry if you're going to share this portion out, but this is also the student count for 2022 and 2023 is due on May 17th. This is a reminder that the student counts are due to the Office of Indian Education no later than Wednesday, May 17th. If you've already submitted your student count, please confirm that your data is still correct. All ADE grantees, which is what I fall under, must provide the student counts even if your funds have been waived. So if you waived your funds for this coming year, we still request that you provide that student count to the office. Beginning in fiscal year 2024, the BIE funding allocations will be based on the 2022-23 student counts. So previous allocations were based on the 1995 counts. So those who have been receiving JOM funds, your funding source has been based off of 1995 student counts. And so it took strong advocacy to get this more accurate. And so over the past few years, legislation has gone through to where it has been updated. That came with the supplemental act for the JOM. I'm sorry, the Modernization Act from JOM. So we're able to provide more accurate student count increases for a lot of our JOM programs. The grantees whose counts fall below the 1995 counts will see a reduction in their JOM allocations. Excuse me, but again, for those who are receiving your JOM funds through ADE, the deadline for that is May 17th. Switching over to Title VI, the application for Part 2 of our grant process has been released. Excuse me. This opened up on April 3rd. And so it's been open for at least 2 weeks. The closing date will be on May 12th, Friday, May 12th, and it'll close at midnight Eastern time. And so that would be, I think, 9 o'clock our time. So if you're receiving Title VI, excuse me, if you're receiving Title VI grants, again, the closing date for that Part 2 that will need to be submitted will be May 12th. There is a webinar that will be coming up on Wednesday, May 3rd, and I will share that in the link. If you receive Title VI funds, then I encourage you to sign up for this webinar that will take place. And this is for the reallocation webinar that will be held for our Part 2 grant. There's previously hosted information webinars that they've had for the Title VI grant itself. I'll drop that in the chat also. So if you know of any programs who are receiving Title VI fundings, these webinars are very helpful in filling out and completing that easy form. And that is all that I have for our president's report. Again, I don't want to take up a whole lot of time. We do have quite a bit on the agenda, and I do want to get to our program share outs. We do have some websites that we encourage you to review from time to time, and this is for our Arizona Indian Education Association. All of this includes our email, our website, our Facebook page, which is our social media, as well as our YouTube. All of our past general meeting sessions that are recorded are uploaded on our YouTube page, as well as any webinar information that is shared out over in the past, including our finance webinar that we held, the first one we held, and we'll get to that later in the agenda. But in conclusion, AIEA continues to create safe spaces for our membership to be heard. We will also continue to work with allies and partners to make meaningful and measurable change within our organization and society as a whole, in keeping with our mission to provide research and resources to Arizona schools for American Indian students to achieve academic excellence through culturally responsive education. So again, I just want to say thank you for your time to those who are attending our general meeting today, and we look forward to having you back next month. And so that is all that I have for the president's report. Are there any questions? All right. So if there are none, we will move on to our treasurer's report, and I am going to turn it over to Sheila.
Okay, Travis and I, just as a quick update, we went yesterday to try to get everything situated with Desert Financial to get me on the account and so forth, and ran into a little snag on I'm fighting with them on something, so but I'm in the process of taking care of that, so we should hopefully get me on the account here probably in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, as far as I am, we didn't really have a whole lot of time to really discuss stuff afterwards, so I am going off the report of what Travis had on this February notes. And correct me if I'm wrong, Travis, but according in our checking account, we still have the $2,120.24. I see your cheesy smile.
There was some activity in February and March that's not there's two transactions that happened in February and March that need the balance needs to be updated.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
But I'm assuming our savings account is still the 30,420.06, or did we gain some interest somewhere?
Yeah, a little bit of, yeah, we had some dividends, yes. So a couple of bucks, a little more than that. Just to report, when we were doing the scholarship last year, one of the recipients, his name was Beef Tony. I sent the check out to him when we announced everyone's award, but that check got bounced. And then, or not, sorry, the check didn't get bounced. The check got returned. Sorry, this is my first cup of coffee of the morning. The check got returned for improper address, and someone was supposed to follow up with him, and I don't think that whoever that was, I don't even remember who said it was going to follow up, but I realized in February that person, People Tony, wasn't paid. So we paid him his scholarship check of $700 in February. And then Kim reminded me that on an annual basis, we have to submit an annual report for the Arizona Corporate Commission so that AIEA can remain in good standing. And Kim paid that out of her own pocket to pay, and so AIEA reimbursed her, and the charge was $10, and that came through. So there was a change in the last time we reported from with the $700 and the $10. So our balance now is $1,410.24.
Okay.
And our savings, yes, there was a dividend. How come I can't get into my savings for some reason? Oh, I'm pushing the wrong button. Yeah, we've gotten some dividends. Whoa, the dividends are $2 now. We had an additional $4.90. So we have $30,424.99 in our savings.
They couldn't give us that little extra penny just to make us an even amount. Oh, geez.
It used to be that the dividend was like $1. Now they're $2. That's kind of cool.
Oh. Yeah, so basically, hopefully by the next meeting, I will be fully on board with knowing where we are with numbers and so forth, but it was not a snag on my part. It was a snag on their part. So we'll figure that out. So we're good.
Thank you, both Sheila and Travis. I was thinking about you guys yesterday. We were all kind of in a frenzy at 10 a.m. yesterday, or Thursday, trying to get some documents and paperwork. So I'm glad it wasn't on us.
No, it wasn't.
Travis, if you don't mind, you've always done a good job on doing some background information as far as our financial status with AIEA. And I am going to ask and request if you could just share that out for those who may not know. And the situation with the reason why we're still trying to switch over with you and Sheila.
Sure. So I provided just a brief update, brief history of AIEA. So back in the 70s, there were some concerned parents in the Phoenix area that met with the Department of Education out of concern of the way in which JOM monies are getting to the school districts in a timely manner. And the parents felt like that was a good forum for them to talk about general Indian education issues. And I forget the name of what they called themselves. It was something like the Greater Phoenix Valley Indian Parent Committee or something like that. And we still have minutes from some of those meetings back in the 80s. And Teresa Price, surprisingly, was one of the founding members of that group. The group continued to meet and across the valley, and then it grew into a statewide forum. And by the 2000, I believe it was 2003, Arizona Indian Education Association was established as a nonprofit organization, organized under the state laws of Arizona and recognized as a 501c3 under IRS codes. And we have established bylaws and purposes, and I would say, gosh, was it 2012, 2013? There was a lot of inactivity going on with the organization, and there was discussion around dissolving the organization. But there's people who joined today felt like it was still important that we continue this organization, and that there's still a need to discuss these important education issues that are affecting our Native students. And so, but the board at the time felt that they needed to have some sort of fiscal sponsor to give some administrative support and to help develop AIEA to becoming that standalone organization that they established back in 2003. So Intertribal Council of Arizona stepped up to serve as that fiscal agent. So we have two accounts now. We have an account with ITCA, and we have an account with Desert Financial. The agreement between AIEA and ITCA has actually expired, but ITCA still recognizes and is interested in continuing to support AIEA. However, I think the board will need to meet with ITCA to develop what that future is going to look like. But the last time when I was treasurer last year, and the last time I reported on the ITCA account, there is a little bit of a deficit, mostly because of one of the first activities that we did when ITCA became a fiscal agent was to plan a youth conference, and it happened in a November where the majority of the students that were planning to attend were coming from Northern Arizona. And the night before the youth conference, there was a huge snow. And I would say about almost 50 to 75 students were unable to attend the conference. And so the revenue that we were intending to generate to help support the organization wasn't there. So there's a little bit of a deficit because of that. But other than that, I think there's plans in May for the board and ITCA to meet to talk about next steps.
Thank you, Travis. I appreciate that. And just as an update, our executive members will be meeting with the ITCA for some updates on May 10th. So we should have an update report back to the general membership on the status as far as our financial status at the May meeting. And so again, we are meeting with ITCA executives on May 10th, and we'll provide that report at our next meeting. So thank you, Travis. You always do a great job, and I appreciate that. All right, are there any questions? We do also have a Venmo account, correct, Travis? That we have not had any transactions on that, excuse me, and that was created partially and due to the educators banquet that we hold in our silent auction items that are done during that time. But to date, we do not have any transactions or any activities with that account, but just so the membership is aware. All right, if there's no other questions, we will move on in the agenda. Thank you for your patience. Next, we have our Indian education updates. And so first we'll start with our Office of Indian Education. So I am going to turn it over to Lynn Ann.
Thank you, Kimberly. If it's okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can y'all see my screen? All right. Let me go and start the slideshow. Okay, so first of all, just wanted to bring to your attention our new logo. So AIEA has a new look now. And so you'll see here at the upper left-hand corner of the screen, that is our new logo. And also a new kind of branding, guide. So just so you know, if you see, I know we had the primary colors before where it was the bright, red, blue, and yellow. This one goes into still red, blue, and like yellow goldish, but a little bit darker tones. So just so you're aware, if you see this new logo, it is the Arizona Department of Education. And so just to give a quick overview of our agency, the mission is on the right side of the screen. The Arizona Department of Education is a service organization committed to raising academic outcomes and empowering parents. And so with our new superintendent, this is also the new mission our agency follows now. And you'll see that the larger Arizona Department of Education exist here. And then we have the Division of Academic Achievement, which is where Office of Indian Education currently resides within the agency. Just wanted to share a little bit about our team. Terry Beeler-Saucedo is our Tribal Grant Specialist. She's been with the office the longest, probably, I think she's going on 5 years now. And then we have Sarah Woody Jackson, who's our Program Project Specialist. She is our newest team member. She started with us she joined us in October. We have Helen Thomas, who's our Professional Learning Coordinator. She's been with the office for about 1.5 years now. And then Brooke Curley-Hare is our Education Program Specialist, and she's been with the office for 2 years now. And so I have an amazing team that, they do a very good job. They all have very different jobs. And so, Terry oversees Johnson O'Malley, dual enrollment, and tribal consultation. Sarah really takes care of all of us as a staff. She takes care of all of our scheduling, our communications, touching base with partners internally and externally. And she helps me out a great deal in just staying organized and attending meetings on our behalf and kind of representing the office. Then Helen plans, professional learning opportunities. She also partners with internal and external entities and in order to offer different PLs, and I'll share one of those here in a minute. And then Brooke takes care of all of our comms, so all of our presentations. She's out on leave right now, but she should be back in the next 6 to 8 weeks with us. So we're missing her, and we look forward to having her back in the office with us. A few updates that I'm just going to share. I'm just going to talk a little bit about, I'll let you know about our OIE RISE grant, share a professional learning opportunity, and then an upcoming event that we're currently planning. So our ADE OIE RISE grant stands for Raising Indigenous Success in Education. And basically it's a 3-year grant opportunity. So it's multi-year funding. And really the grant is to, we're trying to make it as flexible as possible to be able to meet the educational needs of Native American students and educators in the state of Arizona. And we know that, Johnson O'Malley funding exists. We know that Title VI funding exists. We know that all the title fundings, programs also exist. But ours this funding is unique in a sense that we're not requiring some of the documentation and eligibility. We don't have those eligibility requirements that some of the other grants do, because we want to be able to just support all of our Native students. I know that when I was at a district, we really only had forms from about half of the students there, which means the other half of the students were not receiving, support through funding, through those funding sources. So we wanted to open that up. Eligible entities are districts in Arizona. This is another kind of obstacle we wanted to remove, was eligible entities. Although the Arizona Department of Education serves and supports public schools and charter schools, we also wanted to include tribally controlled or grant schools, BIE funded schools, because we understand that our students, could potentially be moving back and forth between these different designations or types of schools. And so we or feeding into, ADE schools. So we wanted to ensure that they are also supported or had the opportunity to apply for these grants. The application opened March 1st, and it's going to be closing May 1st, which is just about a week and a half away. So we've held 3 webinars, and hopefully those entities or districts and schools that are applying are well on their way to completing their application. And so just wanted to give an update on that. The amounts, the award amounts are up to $225,000 over the 3 years. So we're looking at $100,000 year 1, $75,000 year 2, and $50,000 year 3. The idea is that we want, our grantees to be able to create sustainable programming. And so that's why we kind of did a tiered amount, tiered funding amounts. And then a PD opportunity that I'd like to invite anybody to, if you are here in the Valley or are planning to be here in the Valley on Saturday, May 6th, we are partnering with the Heard Museum to provide the K-12 Educator Night, which will be focusing on teaching academic standards with Indigenous storytelling. We do have an Indigenous author named Violet Duncan who will be presenting that evening as well. You will receive or can receive 2 hours of PD credits. It is happening from 4 to 7:30 p.m. Any educators in Arizona are invited. It is a free event. And we really want to, ensure that we're connecting the Arizona academic standards to, or really want to explore how you can utilize Indigenous kind of texts and storytelling and tying them to the Arizona academic standards. And then, of course, we're going to have refreshments and then after hours access to the Heard Museum. So again, hope you are available to join. If not, if you're in a district or teachers or educators and that are going to be in the Phoenix Valley on that and on the 6th, please invite them. And I'll go ahead and I will put, once I'm done with the presentation, I will put all of the links in the chat. So you'll have that. We are currently planning our OIE Youth Conference. We're focusing on high school age students. We're looking at June 2023. I don't have the exact date. We're signing the contract. So we're in the middle of signing the contract right now. We're looking at Sedona, Arizona. So please look out for further information on that. We're going to limit it right now somewhere between 100 to 150 students. And so if you have youth you're interested in bringing, just be prepared that in the next week, we're going to be sending out that information, registration links and everything. So just wanted to give you all a heads up about that. And really the conference is going to focus on tying what students are doing right now in school, the academics that they are, you know, whatever topics and subjects they're learning about in school right now, we're tying that to future college and career opportunities. And that's it for me for our updates. Kimberly, you covered the JOM forum and some of the JOM updates, so I don't need to cover those again, but appreciate the time and space to be able to share all of this. And let us know if you need anything or if you have questions. Thank you.
Hi, this is Katie. It's not so much a question, but do you have like a yearly plan of what activities OIE will be presenting for over the year? Because we're getting ready to put in our budgets and it's pretty hard to, you know, like I would love to send people to the May thing, but we have to have the pre-approved travel in place first. So it's, we really are kind of left out of the planning process. So anything that you can have available, like a year plan, if you could send out to us, that would be great.
Okay, so yes, thank you for that. We'll definitely work on that. We just recently contracted Uriah's Communications to plan our events that we're going to be having. So that's why we haven't put out anything yet, because we're waiting for that contract to come through to be finalized, basically, with the event coordinator. And just to give you a heads up, we're looking at hosting this youth conference in June, our stakeholder summit, which is going to be a statewide stakeholder summit. We're looking at hosting that late September, and then another youth conference in Tucson in November, the first weekend of November. So hopefully that helps. Those are just a couple other events that are coming up down the road.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the last one? I missed that one.
Youth conference in Tucson, the first weekend of November. And it'll be similar to the one in June. It's just a different location, and we're actually going to allow more attendees at the second one, in the one in November. I think that's it. Let us know if you have any questions, or let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lynn, for providing those updates. Like I mentioned, we always appreciate you being a part of AIEA meetings to provide that information to us and get those resources out. I'm sad to know that the K-12 Educator Night is going to take place on May 6th, because that's when our powwow is going to take place here in Tucson. So I'll miss that event, but of course, we all know as educators, there's never a good time and a good date for everybody. There's always going to be something going on, just because we have so many great programs out there doing wonderful work. So again, thank you, Lynn, for sharing that information. She did drop some information in the chat, so I encourage you to take a look at that and to grab those links while you can. And if you have any questions, she is available to answer questions at any time. All right, and then next we have our National Indian Education Association. Usually Joaquin is the one who does this update, but unfortunately he is not able to be here today. I do want to make note that they did reach out to AIEA, excuse me. NIEA representatives came, including Diana Corninger, who is the executive director for NIEA, came to Phoenix a couple of weeks back. I want to say she came the first full week in April, because I was out that week and on travel, so I wasn't able to attend. And I don't believe any of our executives were able to attend that meeting either. but they came to Phoenix to talk with several partnerships, one including ITCA, Lynn Ann's office, the Office of Indian Education. They did come, and what they came for is to highlight the Native Education for All curriculum that they're wanting to try and get more information on implementation process. And so, Lynn Ann, did you happen to be at that meeting?
Yes, I did attend that meeting.
If you don't mind just sharing a little bit of what took place there. Again, I don't think any of our executives from AIEA were able to be there. I'd appreciate
Yes, let me pull up my notes just so I don't miss anything. So as you said, the NIA staff was there. I think there were 4 or 5 staff members that came in. There were a couple of program directors that came in from Washington as well. I know we also had somebody join us, I think, from Utah. Everybody else was from here in Arizona. And so we just engaged in conversations about Native Education for All. This is something that they are still kind of solidifying plans on. They're trying to figure out what is the most strategic way to move this through, say, like the legislature, to put into policy, and then start thinking about implementation phases. I know Joaquin gave updates regarding policy, Indian education policy from different states. So he provided information from, let me see, who did he, from Arizona, from Minnesota, from North Dakota. Then there were some updates from Washington. Just so you all know, there's a bill that's currently being considered. I'm not sure what the status is of it right now, but it's let me see, where is it? It's House Bill 2513. It's sponsored by Representative May Peshlikai. And basically it is to include Native American history and current events into the Arizona state standards and curriculum resources. It would be, I guess, basically governed by the State Board of Education and not necessarily the Department of Education, which is an interesting approach. So that's just something they highlighted here in Arizona. And let's see, in Minnesota, I know they allocated funding in 2016 for the Grow Your Own program. And so there, I guess that funding aims to increase the number of minority teachers in the state. They talked about in 2022 that Minnesota went through several strategic planning sessions, and that they're currently, they're going to be, they hosted, I should say, an Indian Education for All workshop back in June. And then from North Dakota, he talked about the, I think it's Senate Bill 2304, which requires all public and private schools to include Native American history. Talked about a little bit of professional development that North Dakota is offering because of Senate Bill 2304, that the required professional learning, professional development. And then in Washington, he covered House Bill 5534, which is regarding curriculum and collaboration requirement for Native Education for All, and then House Bill 1426, which is government to government training requirement. And so again, it was just really an overview of policy and what's happening in different states in regards to Indian education. And then there was the different staff members kind of talked about what they have, what they do. In Casey Wise, Dr. Casey Wise, who oversees NIEA's programs, Daphne Little Bear, who oversees the Decolonizing Data Grant, Christina Goodson oversees the Native Language Work, and then also oversees the Veterans Project. I know ITCA was there, their current NIEA grantee, and are assisting in the Native Education for All efforts. And so Monique just announced that they have been developing a white paper that they will be releasing the white paper soon. And then we gave our updates, and then they kind of facilitated a discussion about kind of what can happen, what's feasible to, like, what is the low hanging fruit within the next year, what can be accomplished in the next year, what can be accomplished in 3 years, what can be accomplished in 5 years. So we just kind of took the afternoon to talk about that. And that's in reference to what NIEA can do in those 1, 3, and 5 year increments. So hope that helps, but that's
Yes,
basically
it
what we
does.
covered.
Thank you so much, Lynn. I appreciate that update. I have been in conversation with Diana just over the past few weeks. And she did share that it was a really good meeting, that she was able to meet with everybody that participated. And but I know she's busy, so she really didn't give me an update on exactly what was shared out. So I appreciate that, Lynn, for updating our membership. Like I said, AIEA was to be a part of that, but unfortunately, none of our executives were able to attend the meeting. But we look forward to future collaborations with NIEA. They have come to us on several occasions for other information, specifically with the Native Education for All curriculum. We have worked with ITCA in the past on the white paper that's going to be released for the report in regard to that Native curriculum. And so we're excited to see what that report will share out when it does get released. I do want to mention that they are having, this is information about their trade show, their annual trade show that will take place October 18th through the 21st. It's going to take place in Albuquerque. I just dropped the website in there. You can find out more information by going to the link and looking at all the details for the conference that will be held there, as well as a legislative review, which you can find on their website also, but I'll just drop it here in the chat because, as Lynn mentioned, there's quite a bit that's happening out there in Indian education across Indian country. And so we encourage you to keep updated on those issues that are pertaining to what will directly eventually affect us too. And so I don't have any more updates as far as NIEA, and I'm not as good as Joaquin is. Usually he provides detailed legislative issues, but unfortunately I don't have those in front of me, but we'll get an update from him. He did send some one-pagers to me at because he was thinking we had our meeting last month, but I told him we weren't meeting until this month. But I'll share those out because they are one-page information that he did share out, and excuse me, in relation to the legislation and policies that are taking place now with NIEA that they're currently advocating for. And so I'll share those out to the membership in a follow-up email after this meeting. And so if you are not receiving any of our emails, please let us know. Feel free to drop your email in the chat to make sure we have your email. And if you know of anybody else who is interested in receiving updates from AIEA, please let us know. We'll make sure that they'll be added to our listserv. And Travis has done an excellent job on getting everybody's contact information for that. Excuse me. Are there any other questions? All right. And again, Lynn is dropping some information in the chat. Encourage you to grab that so that you'll have that on your calendars also. So we will move on in the agenda to our old business. I will quickly go over these. This is our 2023. Excuse me, I apologize. I've had a cough that just won't go away, and once I start talking, sometimes it just comes out. So I apologize in advance. Our 2023-2024 student scholarship for AIEA, we are getting some information for that to update our application. If you would like to be on the scholarship committee, please let us know. The contact for our student scholarship this year is our Vice President, Esther Nystrom. She unfortunately is not able to be with us today, but she is is heading that up for our student scholarship application. This is where the scholarship will update the application. We're going to explore the theme for this year of what the essay will encompass and what they are required to write about. We are, excuse me, are seeking art from the student applicants. What we eventually would like to see is this art being utilized toward our silent auction during our educator celebration. And so we encourage all of our students. We have outstanding students that are artists in all aspects of media. And so we encourage them to express that during this time when they apply for the scholarship. And we've seen so many beautiful pieces over the past couple of years since we implemented this portion of our scholarship. And so we always encourage that. We are hoping to finalize and release the application before spring ends. And so we are looking at getting some scholarship committee members together so we can start that process and get that out. We are hoping that we can get that out by the end of, excuse me, the end of May or the beginning of June. So that way we can capture those students while they're fresh out of school or still have that connection with their teachers to provide any paperwork with along with the documentation. We select the awardees in the fall, and then we usually invite the recipients to come to our general meeting in November. So this is a special time that we want to highlight those recipients because of the work and efforts they do and journeying through their education. And so we want to highlight them and showcase what they do. Are there any questions? Okay, if there are none, once we do get some information about a scholarship committee, we'll set up a time. I'll get with Esther to set up a time and a date so that we can share that out for those of you who would like to be a part of the committee. And what it does, when the applications come in, we eventually review each of the applications and score on a rubric that we have set up already. So it's just a matter of time of going through and reviewing these outstanding applications we get every year. And so again, if you're wanting to be a part of that, Esther's contact is right there on the screen. I encourage you to pull that and let her know. And once we get the meeting information, we'll send that out to the membership. Next, I wanted to highlight is our upcoming summer youth camp. Every year since 2017, we've held a summer camp or a youth camp. And 2017, 18, and 19, it was held in the summers. And in 2020, we actually held a winter camp as well as 2021. And so this year, actually, I think the 21 was moved to January. And so we held 2 winter camps in the month of January and February over the past couple of years, just due to not being able to meet in person. But this year we are going back to meeting in person. Excuse me, as you can see on the flyer. These are a few pictures from our last camp that we held in 2019. It showcased where the top picture shows where the students are showing their projects and explaining their projects that they do throughout the week or throughout the camp time to the elders. And in the second picture, you can see the elders looking at the projects that are done. This particular camp, they did artwork as far as poetry or drawings or paintings. And so one of the paintings or the drawings that they see, which was actually at our last educators banquet, it was one of the pieces for auction in 2019. But the elders provide that feedback, and it's really a wonderful conversation that's held between the elders and the students, and the feedback that they provide, because they go along with their teachings and their traditions and sharing out of what it means to them of what these students did. And so it's really encouraging for the students and exciting to hear what the elders share back to them. In the third picture, you'll see that our students are gathered together. We do have talks throughout the camp and discussions and activities that we do with the students. One of those activities is a cultural activity, which is The last picture where we're making fry bread, you can't really tell, but the person sitting on the left side is our Vice President, Esther. And so she's helping make the fry bread dough and getting it prepared for with one of the students there. And so it's a lot of fun that the students have. We've always had positive feedback. We're always open to suggestions of topics or different aspects that could be shared during our camp. But this is a unique camp that we started. We wanted it to be unique and different than just a regular youth gathering. We really emphasized the cultural aspect. And so this event is open to American Indian students in grades 7 through 12 living within Arizona. This year's theme emphasizes the way our ancestors used cultural knowledge of the surrounding environment to sustain a way of life for our people. So our theme this year is braiding the elements of life. What that signifies, we're going to focus upon the 4 elements of the fire, water, air, and the land. And so there's different cultural aspects that we relate to each of these elements that we're sharing out as over the course of the camp itself. And so we're really excited to get this going. So as you see, registration for non-AIE members is $200. For AIE members, it's $150. And so this will be an all-inclusive registration that will encompass the meals, the materials. We give student packs to the students that do come and participate. And so there's some incentives that are included in those student packs. And so we're really excited. As you see here, we have daily themes. So we're recruiting outreach to tribal college and youth council partners. We do have elders that are we have for the duration that provide the feedback. We also reach out to college students. So if you know college students who may be interested in being a college mentor during the camp, they oversee at least 3 to 4 students throughout the duration of the camp, and we assist them along the way. We also are looking for presenters in relation to braiding the elements of life theme. And so if you want more information, please feel free to reach out to me. I apologize, I did not put my contact information on the screen, but I will share it in the chat box. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me in regard to the upcoming summer youth camp. Are there any questions? All right, again, we are looking forward to that. That's going to be July 29th and 30th. Next, we have our bylaws, and I do not see Esther has joined us. She says she might or might not, but I'll quickly go over this slide. Excuse me, she is still calling for bylaw committee members to be on this committee. Just a brief explanation of the bylaws that was executed on the 14th day of September 2007. We did have a review committee in 2016 who recommended changes, but the changes were never voted upon. So we still are operating off of those 2007 bylaws. So there is a call for bylaw committee members. It is a tedious process of going through and updating. So we encourage, if you're wanting to assist us in that process, please contact Esther. Again, she is heading up our bylaws committee. The first meeting will be held this coming Wednesday, April 26th in the evening from 6 to 7 p.m. She did state that she'll send the Zoom information out. And then once we receive that, we'll get that out to the membership for those who would be, excuse me, interested in participating and updating our bylaws. Are there any questions? All right, if there are none, we will move on the agenda, which is our new business. So I did want to highlight, as I mentioned, we have a webinar series that we are doing, and this is a collaborative effort with the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. We held our first webinar in March. I believe it was March 22nd that we held that, or March 20. Yeah, I believe it was March 22nd was the first finance webinar we held. We had a really good turnout for those participants. A lot of information was shared as far as the financial aspect of resources that are available. Megan Cruz has partnered with us. This partnership began in 2021, where we held another series of finance webinars that lead up to our own virtual summer course that the Federal Reserve Bank sets up on behalf of AIEA. So this is a virtual course that will take place over the time period. I requested it to open up May 1st, just to encourage high school students who may need a financial course requirement completed during graduation or right shortly thereafter. And so we are going to open that up a little bit earlier this year. But again, it's just a course modules that will be shared over, it's up to you on how quickly you complete these courses and these modules. It's a self-paced type course that's available, and it's open to all the American Indian students, our parents, the guardians, and educators. And so it's not specified to just one group. It's not just for our students, but it's for everybody who would like to go through this financial process webinar that's available. Our next webinar session we will hold will be next week on April 25th. It'll be at 1 o'clock. It'll be an hour session, and we'll send that Zoom information out along with the updated flyer for that. So we'll try and get that out to everybody today. But again, this is a partnership with collaborating efforts with the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, and they do an excellent job of providing that information and sharing out what's available to us, as well as to educators for the program they have called Econ Lowdown, which emphasizes curriculum, financial curriculum. What's really unique with what they're doing that Megan has shared with us in the past, and she's brought resources to our meetings whenever she did a professional development for us, but the curriculum that they have, some of it is in a tribal language. And so it's encouraging for that, excuse me, that specific area that they created this for, to share out with their little ones in their elementary, middle school, and high school booklets and curriculum that they provide in the tribal language, or even tribal words that are included with that curriculum that they share, but it's to help encourage that financial responsibility as they grow. And so again, this is just a little bit about what they do. Our next finance webinar series for AIEA will be held again April 25th at 1 o'clock. And there's some contact information if you want further more information about the curriculum that they have there. Megan's really good about responding right back. And so, are there any questions?
Yes, Kimberly, this is Jonelle Tapija from the Wallapai.
Yes.
With speaking with Megan, I did get some information with her with our students here, but I'm thinking of if this is going to be offered to the Native Americans throughout Arizona, and maybe those off Arizona, out of Arizona. I'm thinking that our students could benefit from these courses. Did you guys identify how many courses or classes that are going to be required to, I guess, like finish the finance classes?
I think it's certain hours, and I'm trying to remember how many hours are required in order to show that it's completed. I'll follow up with Megan because I don't know if it's going to be the same as she had before us last time. And I know they were working on building that module for us, but hopefully she'll share that out at our next webinar. Maybe they'll have it ready by then and sharing out, but I haven't heard from her in a couple of weeks, but I'll follow up with her, Jonelle, and ask her, what constitutes completion courses for that. But it's open, to, we specifically, ask for our AIEA community, but it's open to all the educators as long as they click on the link. But the certificate or completion that they'll receive is specifically in regard to AIEA. Well, not specifically just to us, but it'll have our AIEA logo on there, so they'll know where they received the courses from. But pretty much, it's open to everybody.
Okay, thank you, Kimberly.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Okay, and Jonelle, once I hear back from Megan, I'll follow up with you in a separate email for that.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. All right. Again, if you have any questions, you can contact me directly, and I can follow up with Megan for any questions you may have in regard to this webinar series. But we're excited that they're bringing it back. So moving on, this is a time where we have our program share outs. Everybody can share, as I mentioned earlier, any updates about your program, what you're doing, any upcoming events. If you have some flyers, please feel free to share those. And so I am going to allow that time for those of you who would like to. Just feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself and share out what fantastic work you are doing.
Okay, this is Shannon with Girl Scouts. I have 2 flyers I'm going to share. We're still doing our recruitment events for K through 3rd in elementary schools. We've wrapped up our, it's the My Little Pony, so we kind of wrapped up our events here in the Valley, but we also have one scheduled next Wednesday in Winter Rock, and then one in Hopi in May. So I'll be sharing those flyers. It's open to anyone, K through 3rd. Again, emphasis on trying to show more support towards the Native American troops, especially up on the reservations in Navajo and Hopi. Let me see if I can share that with you right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Shannon. We look forward to, again, we're excited that the Girl Scouts are back involved with AIEA, and we look forward to the events that you guys have for us. All right. Anybody else?
I have a question, Shannon. Is the I guess in your district, is it only for Navajos and Hopis, or can it be out throughout Arizona? Or how
It's
does the Girl Scout work?
Oh yeah, so we're a new program. This is brand new under the council here for Girl Scouts in Phoenix. We are providing services throughout the tribes here in Metro Phoenix, and we also have as a representative up in Navajo and up in Hopi. Right now, there's just 4 of us in this program. Brand new, and we're, again, the main objective is to show more support and have that Indigenous led forefront when it comes to having Native American girls and troop leaders and Girl Scouts. So it's open to anyone or any tribe. I know the Tohono O'odham has their own council in Tucson, so that's probably the only tribe that Tucson council will take care of. Other than that, we kind of take everything above Phoenix area and around Phoenix, like Gila River, Salt River, Pascagoula, and Auction. Yeah, anywhere surrounding Phoenix. But I'll get more information on the Tucson Council. Trudy Pacala, she is the director for tribal affairs here. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it to this meeting, but I can relay the message and see if she can share more information for the next meeting.
Okay, I'll provide my email in the chat so that way we can swap emails as well.
Thank you for that question, Janelle. Appreciate it. And yeah, we'll share out all the flyers as well in the follow-up email that we share out with our membership after the meeting. And so again, feel free to share flyers and events and activities. All right, anybody else? All right, well, really quickly, I'm going to put in the chat. We are having as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be holding our powwow. This year, it's going to be in partnership with the Tucson Indian Center. And I'm looking for the flyer that I can share with everybody. We are excited that the Tucson Indian Center has agreed to partner with our program. And so we are looking forward to the upcoming event. I'm trying to locate our flyer here. Here it is. Okay, I have it somewhere. I'll have to look for it. But that's our information there that will be coming up for, let me just try this way. Our powwow, which again will be May 6th. It's going to be held at the Amphitheater High School located here in Tucson. So we're really excited that that's coming up. We didn't get to hold it last year just due to complexities. And I think the last powwow we had was in 2019. And so we're really excited again that the Tucson Indian Center is willing to partner with us to make it happen again for our students here. And this is the flyer. We do have everything confirmed. We finally got the flyer approved and confirmed yesterday. So we're sharing it out like crazy. So we would appreciate if you share that out also with your networks that you have. Again, this is our Amphitheater Public School District with our Native American Education Program, who is partnering with the Tucson Indian Center here. And there is going to be a fun run that will be held. The Tucson Indian Center will oversee that portion in the morning time. And then our main event will, excuse me, will start at 2 o'clock. It's not going to last too long, but it's going to go until 7. But we are going to have a gourd dance section that will partake from 2 to 4. We're going to break for supper from 4 to 5. Tucson Indian Center will do youth activities during that time. And they will also provide, goodness, excuse me, also provide some food that will be provided for the participants that come and the attendees. We will reconvene and start back up at 5. From 5 to 7 is when we'll have our intertribal, the powwow portion of it. And during that time, we will also acknowledge and recognize all of our honored students that we're acknowledging in a later ceremony for them. But that will be our graduating seniors and all of our 8th grade students who are being promoted to high school. And so we encourage you, if you're not busy that day or not attending Lynann's event, feel free to come down to Tucson and join us at the Amphi High School. It will be inside. It's going to take place in the small gym. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. We have our parent group who's going to have a food booth there. Unfortunately, we're not going to do fry bread. That's a lot of work, and we just don't have the hands-on volunteers to help us. And so we are going to have a food booth, but it'll be more along the lines of concession foods, but there will be food available there. Again, taking place May 6th at Amphi High School. Any questions? All right. Was there anybody else who wanted to share out any upcoming events or activities that you're doing? I know we're all getting ready and winding down for the end of the year events and activities.
I just shared one more flyer. Girl Scouts is hiring for summer camp counselors, so it's open to anyone 18 and over. I hear there's a sign-on bonus, so if you know of anyone that's looking for a summer job, they can check out the flyer.
Awesome. We always have students that are interested in work during the summer, especially if they have to do hours and things of that nature. So thank you for sharing that, Shannon. And I am trying to capture all of these. Travis, if you're capturing all the flyers, please let me know. I want to make sure we get all this information out to our membership.
Yeah, I apologize. I stepped away for a phone call, missed some of it, a little bit of it. But I have the Girl Scouts events, and then I see in the chat about the powwow in Tucson. Is there something else I missed?
I think that's all of them. And then Lynanne, the information that she shared, they're links. So we want to make sure we grab those links here. And I think that is it.
Shannon. And Shannon, I'm downloading your hiring flyer as well, so I'll include that as well.
Thank you.
All
There's
right.
Is it the ASU powwow this weekend too?
Yes, it is. I don't have the flyer on hand, but if anybody has a flyer that can share while we have the meeting open, so that way we can grab it and also share that out too. I know that's going to take place this weekend. I want to say it's at the Desert Financial Center. Is that correct? I'm not sure, but I know it's a newer location versus where they've held it in the past. But that's coming up this weekend also.
Yes, it's supposed to start tonight, I think, this evening. And then tomorrow and Sunday. I'm trying to see if I could find the flyers.
Oh, I'm on the I'm on their website. It's 21st to the 23rd. Tickets on sale now. There's a single day pass, weekend pass. There's a bag policy. Master of Ceremonies is Edmund Navakoya. Arena Director Daryl Goodwill, Head Judge Marshall Baker, Head Gourd Dancer IPA Dutch Overgray, Northern Host Drum The Descendants, and Southern Drum is Motown. And today it starts at 5, and then Saturday and Sunday it starts at 11. The gourd dancing starts at 5. Grand entry's at 7 tonight. And the 49 is that, just kidding.
That's what we're all waiting for.
Yeah.
My place, it'll be a big place. No.
Excuse me. Okay. There is another powwow that I know of. I'm trying to find it. I want to say that maybe Phoenix Indian Center has shared. Yes. And Flagstaff. So the Flagstaff High School Native American Education or Native American Club is holding their 44th annual powwow that's taking place this weekend also. Grand entry is tonight at 7, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and Saturday, excuse me, Saturday at 7 o'clock. So it's today and tomorrow. Head lady is Lillian Shakespeare Largo. Head man is Clay Goodstriker. The arena director, Lydell Yazzie, and Nathan Littlechild Jr., and the MC is Rick Yazzie. I'm smiling because we have Rick Yazzie and the Littlechild family who's also doing our powwow here in Tucson on May 6th. So I'm excited. I haven't heard them before, so I'm excited for them. But let me see if I can download this flyer, but this is one of our sister school districts within the state, up in Flagstaff. So if anybody is in the Flagstaff area or knows anybody up in that area, please share this flyer with them so that we can support our students up in our northern relatives. Let me see if I can put this so that everybody will have it. Trying to get as much information out there and supporting all of our education programs. There it goes. And again, that'll take place in Flagstaff. I'm trying to see where it's kind of hard to see on their flyer, even though it's really pretty. It just gives an address, so it's going to take place at 400 West Elm and Flagstaff. So if you're familiar with Flagstaff, which I am not, that's the address for the location of their powwow that will be taking place. They do have an admission fee of $7 each day, so today and tomorrow. There is free admission for children 5 and under, for veterans with an ID, and elderlies who are 65 years and older. But it looks like a nice little event that will take place there. All right, so that is all the information that I had. If there's no other program share outs, I know Lynn had to hop off. And so without keeping everybody on the line, I would like to call for an adjournment of our meeting for today. Let me get to, I've got so many windows open now. So let me get back to our slides here. Located. There we are. Okay, so again, our next meeting will take place Friday, May 19th. It'll be from 11 to 1. If you have any have any questions, please contact Travis. He is our secretary for AIEA. Again, there's our media websites. We encourage you to check back on those websites for any upcoming events and activities. For AIEA, we always try and keep that updated and current. And so with that, if there's no other questions, I would like for a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion.
Okay, Shannon has motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second? Or does everybody want to stay on?
I'll second. This is Travis.
Thank you, Travis. All right, we can go by consensus. Unless there's any objections, please say aye. Any abstentions, like sign. All right, meeting adjourned at 12:40. So we ended a little bit early today, but again, I just want to say thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us this morning and this afternoon, and wish you well. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Have a good day, everybody.
Good day.